Good evening. My name is Jason Patterson, and this is for the video discussion thread, Research to Project Defense. First of all, I must say that I had a really good and interesting time doing this research because this was over a family business that changed hands and still has significant impacts on my family even today. My research topic was showing how a business started by my great grandmother in the late 1920s, how it progressed, how it went through, and how it changed and it changed hands, and how it eventually ended. The significance of this is because, first and foremost, this was a woman starting a business in rural central Georgia in the late 1920s. That was almost unheard of, especially during that time. And to show that, to show how she did it, show how she succeeded in that business. Also, too, as well, another aspect I looked into this was how the relationship was between her and the business and the African American community around the business as well, and how she broke stereotypes with that too as well. I really feel like that this business broke two of those stereotypes. Number one, first of all, a woman owning a business, a successful business, and also how she did different things with that business to break those stereotypes, to bring it about, to be with it. The business transitioned from a cafe restaurant to a more of an auto mechanic shop, car lot dealership when my grandfather took over in the late 1940s. And he still carried over some of those very same things. I always remembered there were more blacks working for him than whites. Off the bat, I can only remember about two of those people working for him being whites. One of them was my father, but most of them were black, and especially in that time period, the business came through the late 40s, the 50s, the 60s during the Civil Rights Act and all the Civil Rights movement through the 70s, 80s, and through the early 90s. Now, what I did is I basically started off with things that I remember, stories I remember, stories that I was part of, because the business actually closed down when I was 12 years old. So I went to my family members and I talked to them. And that led to another person, that led to another person, that led to another person, and led to another person. So my main primary sources were interviews from people around that were involved in the business, who knew the business, family members, people that still lived in the community, and different stuff like that. And that it amazed me how one led to another, led to another, led to another. And it also amazed me about me learning new stories. I tell you a very interesting one. One of my primary sources was a fellow by the first name of Alvin. All right, Alvin, he was a black gentleman, and Alvin Whipple, and his grandfather and grandmother worked for my grandfather, more his grandfather. More his father. I'm sorry. And they thought so much of my grandfather that they named him after my grandfather, and this really pulled on my heartstrings. The summation of the research, it was a great experience. It really was. It was a great thing to see how the influence of the business still even has influence today with it. Especially some people who know it and who had heard stories and who had been affected by the business and still has fond memories of the business even today. Very few members of my family still live in that town. So I had to go and rely on some other people as well with it. Again, I hope you enjoyed your research as much as I did mine. Thank you much.